This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Warrenville City Council regular meeting for Monday, March 18th, 2024. This meeting will be conducted in the traditional in-person format right here at City Hall. For convenience, the public may view the meeting virtually using the GoToAccess information available on our website. Public comment will only be available in person here at the meeting. The remote meeting is for viewing purposes only. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Ashour,
Here.
Alderman Augustinovich,
Here.
Alderman Berry,
Here.
Alderman Davalos,
Here.
Alderman Kruckenberg,
Here.
Alderman Lockett,
Here.
Alderman Widener,
Here.
and Alderman Wilkie is absent.
And excuse. Thank you. Would you please stand as you are able and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Every once in a while, we get to do something nice for somebody very special, and tonight is one of those times. We've got Ray Kimber here to thank him for his involvement in the community over the years, all the nice things that he did, mostly in the background, never looking for any praise or any thanks, but just doing them because he loved Warrenville and he's a good guy. Kathy, would you please bring Ray up? And this was Kathy, his lovely wife's idea, and we're very grateful that we can do it. Just for a couple minutes, Ray, and we'll say some nice things about you, and I want to see you smile. Good to see you again, my friend. And so many friends and family here and neighbors tonight, it's wonderful. So, recognizing Raymond J. Kimber, whereas Ray Kimber's service to the community is long and extensive, and whereas Ray was passionate about his community's future, and worked with Dwight Lund and many others as part of the Warrenville Citizens for Incorporation while working full-time and attending night school. And whereas his commitment to the community led to the establishment of the Warrenville Winfield Community Chest, which served both the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, Family Service Agency, and other worthy organizations. And whereas Ray's continued service to the city, once incorporated, expanded with his participation in the City Zoning Board of Appeals and the Surface Water Protection Organization. And whereas even though Ray was not a writer, stories began to flow onto paper, and he developed a knack for poetry, joined a poetry group, and was once awarded the Editor's Choice Award by the National Library of Poetry. And whereas recognizing his talent for writing, former City Mayor Vivian Lund invited Ray to join a poetry committee to unite residents and students in Wheaton and Warrenville in common discussions about poetry, its meaning and life applications. And whereas among his many accomplishments, watching young students from Wheaton Warrenville South District read poetry at city council meetings was the highlight of Ray's life. Now, therefore, I, David L. Brummel, Mayor of the City of Warrenville, do hereby recognize Raymond J. Kimber for his lifelong service to the community. And now, let's hear it. Ray, okay. Turn around. Turn around.
Some way I could be of service to any one of you, I'd be very happy to stop right and do it right now. Thank you. I love you all.
Just a minute.
I love Warrenville.
Say that again. I love Warrenville, right?
Say it again, Ray. I love Warrenville.
What do you?
Your idea.
Yeah. He said, I love Warrenville. We have Vivian Lund also.
You're all please going to forgive me. About 20 years ago, I had a very serious accident and lost both of my eardrums. And had over the years, I've had 2 or 3 times new eardrums being replaced that never work for one reason or another. And right now, I have no I have no eardrums at all. So you'll
Well,
have to
we'll make
forgive me, please,
ourselves
just a
heard.
little bit.
Okay, Ray. I met Ray in my unfinished basement in the house I live in now when we had the uh, committee meetings to incorporate Warrenville in 1967. Yeah.
I love you.
So we've have a long history together. And uh, when I became mayor, I saw other public meetings in cities that I visited that they had the meetings opened with a prayer. So I invited we had a religious group at that time that all the churches and the Senecal women all were members of. And I asked them if they would take turns coming and giving uh, opening prayer. Well, after several years, they decided they didn't want to do that anymore. And so Ray suggested that I have a poem read at every meeting. And so that's how we opened our meeting for a number of years.
Love you.
And then he was part of this committee that brought the National Laureate Poet to spend a day at Wheaton-Bourneville South High School. And they went to all the English classes. And then we had a big program at night. And they asked me to read a poem. Oh, big deal. It was wonderful. You are a demonstration of a real Warrenville leader. Thank you,
I
Greg.
hope so. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
One more time.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're going to try to make it a short meeting so that you don't have to stay here long, but you are required to stay. No, you're not. You can leave. Okay. That was fun. Citizens' comments. We have 2 people signed this evening. By the way, before we do that, if you didn't sign up and you want to take 2 minutes and come up and say something nice about Ray, I know that would be appreciated. So if you know Ray, you've got a good memory you want to share with him, would you do that now? Come on, be brave. You're safe here. Yes. Oh, Alderman Widener, we'll lead things off. This is how it's done.
I just wanted to thank Ray for inspiring and rekindling an interest in poetry for me. One of the things that he instituted was all of the aldermen would take turns selecting and reading a poem. So we'd hear poems selected by different aldermen from their perspective. And I always thought that it was a inspiring way to start the meeting, and it was a tradition that Ray started. So I thank you for that, Ray Kimber. Appreciate it. And to this day, I'm still looking at poetry and reading poems that come across my desk, and I really enjoy what can be said in few words. So thank you, Ray.
I also remember fondly that the poetry readings we had children come in, and we had people from the community come in, and I never in my whole life got to meet the National Poet Laureate, which was really a lot of fun, thanks to Ray. But that was a good time. There was one particular young lady who was in grade school at the time who came in and read a poetry, who is now a college graduate. So I guess that's a few years ago. But what a nice memory that she has of being able to do that. Anyone else want to add something? Could somebody take her the microphone, please? Yeah, just a moment. That's okay.
This is how Kathy met Ray, is because he said he had to teach her some poet. And I said,
So
do you really want to know some poetry? And he comes up, sure she does. So So drove her, I'm her older sister. I drove her to school every day. And when I picked her up and brought her home, we had to stop at his gas station to get gas. And he says, who is that? Who is that girl sitting next to you? I said, that's my sister. He says, you better look out. I'm going to marry her.
Okay.
That's what you want me to do.
So
No,
that's
nothing.
about what happened a couple of years later. And we had to end up going through stuff with my parents, going to the hospital and everything else. And then they got acquainted and then they got married.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Martha Rogers, and I really met Ray through our book discussion group at the library, and of course met Kathy there at the library, where she was for many, many years. We still talk about Ray at our book discussion meetings because whenever he would be in charge of that book, he would always bring a map that was somehow related to the book. Which, like I said, we still say, oh, we needed Ray to bring a map for this book. And one of the poems that Ray read before a city council meeting was a poem that was written by my grandfather, A.C. Hoy. And so I appreciate you taking the interest in the poetry of several of our city folks. And hugs and kisses, Ray.
Please. You're good, Ray. It's the time to listen. Is this about Ray? Yes. Okay. Had to check.
That's all I talk about. Ray Kimber was in the National Guard. I salute my brother in arms and thank you for your service to our country. And also thank you for your service to the citizens of Warrenville. 57 years ago, Ray stood up to offer his service to the then new city of Warrenville. There were about 3,000 citizens. No Thornwile, no Summer Lakes, no Emerald Green, no police force, but most importantly, no money. Bill Stafford, the new mayor, placed a letter in the Warrenville Digest asking for donations so that the new city could pay its bills. As always, the Warrenville citizens came forward and the bills were paid. Ray convinced his high school friend, Marty Cardelli, to move to Warrenville and raise his family here. Marty stayed for 60 years. As you know, then Ray Kimber was known as Warrenville's first ambassador. Being a poet, Ray wrote many poems. My favorite is Selma. I'll read a few lines from Selma. The bridge seemed out of place, somehow, strangely higher than long. Steel girders crossed and curved, arching over dark water. There were perhaps 100 of them, or 1,000, or maybe 6. In the last 57 years, Ray has always been there to help Warrenville. Now we can say of the group that formed the original Board of Review from that day in 1967, Ray is the last man standing. We must never forget that it is not brick and mortar that makes a city great. It is the citizens like Ray Kimber. Well done, my friend. Well done.
Thank you, Bob. That was delightful. Which reminded me that, Ray's interest in the community and concern of the community didn't end with the early days. I can remember many conversations that we had in my office when there was something going on and Ray had a concern about it and wanted to share his ideas and make sure he understood what was happening and make sure it was good for the community. So Ray has been a good citizen his whole life in Warrenville, and we will not forget that. So Ray, thank you so much. Yeah. It's entirely okay if you want to go home before we do business. Thank you all for coming.
Ted Cruz.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the brain rings a bell. That was fun. I got to get.
He read a poem. Oh, it stuck with me. I was kind of not moving real fast.
Can you get it on?
You might need to explain very quickly about my.
No. Yeah, I will. I'll explain.
Thanks.
Put your arm up there, Ray.
Watch my elbow. Okay.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
It's wonderful. Thank
Keep
you.
trying.
What a nice night. Oh, hi, Angela. No, so.
Bob, did you have anything additional?
Bob, did you have anything additional? Are you going to quit while you're ahead? Good man. Thank you. That was very nice tonight. Very much appreciated. Mike Hoffman. Mike?
Hello. My name is Michael Hoffman, 3 South 436 2nd Street. What I'm up here for is I went to the county board meeting last week, and I had brought a packet. Everybody up there should be familiar with this. I give it to many of the county board members back 15 years ago. And I also have an engineering report from R.W. Lindley. at the time, he had told me that he forwarded it to all the appropriate authorities. I never got confirmation that they received it. Now, whether he did or not, I don't know. So I thought just to make sure somebody's seen it, I made a comment at the citizens comment section of the county board meeting last Tuesday, which would be the 12th, about the report that I had written up, and then also the engineering report at R.W. Lindley that clearly shows that the Faywell Dam's flooding us out. And the reason for that is because if anything should happen to me or whatever, they've been notified. You know, and that's the important part about it, is they've been notified. And if anything other, anything, because people don't realize how bad we can get flooded out. I do. And as those pictures I showed you as far as Army Corps of Engineers report shows that guy, well, it'd be a lot higher than that. That was before Deal Road levee was built. If you get the people that have been in town for a long time will remember when they backfilled up to the river at Hammerschmidt's at the Elmhurst Quarry Stone quarry there. And if that was floodplain, they would have never been allowed to do that, because the property along the river, and it's on my deed, that it's considered a riverside property, and we're able to build within 20 feet. Now, people that have been here for a long time, where Volt tells us that used to be Hates Ford Tractor. Well, when he built that, he had to backfill that lot, and he backfilled right up to the river. Well, then the state came and made him dig it out, because you can't, at that time, you couldn't do it. You could only do it within 20 feet of the river. Then that's the reason why there was like a step there. And that happened back, I think, in the 60s or early 70s. And but this should go in there, because I asked them to put it, to enter it into their permanent minutes, the minutes of that meeting in its entirety. So if they do what they should do, you should be able to read it. The report, the letter that I wrote up about it, I mailed thousands of these copies out back years ago. And R.W. Lindley's report, which he's very well renowned in the engineering field. Matter of fact, he was the one that used to give the engineers their certification test. And from my understanding, he was used as an expert witness in over 200 cases, and he had never lost a case. And I could go into the whole reason why he took this on and that, but some other time maybe. But the importance of this is now, if they say they didn't know, if we do get flooded out terribly, the people can sue them, because they do know. And if they don't correct this problem, and we do get, because you're looking at Hammerschmidt's. I mean, if you think that picture that I showed you as far as where the water come up on that guy is about 6'4" in a 500-year, that was after they built Faywell Dam, but that was before they built Deal Road levee. Now Hammerschmidt's, they had Elmhurst Quarry, Elmhurst Stone, they had backfilled that land back in the early 90s, I believe, before they did the dam modification and built the levee on Deal Road. Well, I don't know the exact elevation of it, but I'll guarantee you, because the average elevation of that Deal Road and the levee there is about 700, 699, 700, somewhere there. And I can guarantee you the top of that where they backfilled is probably over that, you know. And I'm sure they probably had the inside scoop on it and did it while they could. But
Well, thank you,
going
Mike.
on is wrong.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Very good. We'll move on then to official and staff comments. Just delightful to recognize Ray tonight. That's all I have to say, Clerk. Treasurer?
Nothing.
Alderman? It's all been said. Okay. City Administrator? Attorney? Okay, we had our fun. We're going to do business now, I guess. Approval of the agenda. Alderman Widener, welcome back. We missed you.
Thank you. I move to approve the agenda for the March 18th, 2024 City Council regular meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion of the agenda? Any changes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries and the agenda is approved as presented. We have two sets of minutes that need approval also. Alderman Reiter, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, certainly. I motion to approve the minutes of the March 4th, 2024 City Council regular meeting and motion to approve the minutes of the March 11th, 2024 Community Development Committee meeting.
Second.
Second by Alderman Davalos. Again, any questions or comments on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The minutes are approved as presented. The consent agenda for this evening, item 6A, accept zoning board of appeals recommendation, waive second reading and pass ordinance 02024-13 approving variations from table 10A of the City of Warrenville zoning ordinance to allow a detached garage 3 South 651 Landon Avenue. B, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and pass resolution R2024-16 approving an agreement with the Mexican Cultural Center DuPage MMC and an intergovernmental agreement with the Warrenville Public Library District for the purchase of one Alberge sculpture. C, accept Plan Commission recommendation and pass resolution R2024-17 memorializing the approval of a minor amendment to the Park District Plan Unit Development to allow the installation of an emergency backup generator. D, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and direct the city attorney to negotiate an agreement with the Warren Tavern Preservationists to facilitate conveyance of the Warrenville Tavern and define future operation and maintenance responsibilities for the structure. E, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and accept the Tourism and Arts Commission recommendation and an award $3,750 in hotel tax funds for capital investments to the Warrenville Tavern building per the Tourism and Arts Commission memo dated February 16th, 2024, and direct staff to include this funding in the FY 2025 budget. F, receive and file minutes of the Bicyclists and Pedestrian Advisory Commission meeting held on February 13th, 2024. G, receive and file draft minutes of the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting held on March 7th, 2024. H, receive and file report of invoices paid up to March 13th, 2024 in the amount of $65,679.79. I, authorize expenditures for invoices due on or before April 1st, 2024 in the amount of $271,107.10. And J, receive and file report of Chase commercial card expenditures for the month of February 2024 in the amount of $19,904. Alderman Widener.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented by Mayor David Brummel.
Second.
Second by Mayor Alderman Kruckenberg. No pressure.
Yeah.
Have a roll call, please.
All right. Alderman Lockett.
Aye.
Alderman Davalos.
Aye.
Alderman Widener.
Aye.
Alderman Ashour.
Aye.
Alderman Kruckenberg.
Aye.
Alderman Berry.
Aye.
Alderman Augustinovich.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries and the consent agenda is accepted as presented. We have nothing under regular agenda, nothing under unfinished business, nothing under new business. We do, however, have the need for a closed session this evening. May I have the motion and the citation, please, Alderman Berry?
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2 collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call again, please.
Alderman Widener.
Aye.
Alderman Ashour. Alderman Lockett.
Aye.
Alderman Berry.
Aye.
Alderman Davalos.
Aye.
Alderman Augustinovich.
Aye.
And Alderman Kruckenberg.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. There will be no deliberations after this closed session, so you're free to go about your personal business. Thank you for your attention and attendance this evening. Have a good one.